Hi everyone, it's me Gaming 2, and it's that time again. Today we are doing another part of Unpopular Opinions. Yes, today it is part 3. Now, both of my Unpopular Opinions videos have gotten some criticism because, well, pretty obvious. They're unpopular opinions. Well, let's just say a few of these might be 10 times more unpopular than the other videos. And that's why I feel it's time to go on to part 3. So, strap in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready for Unpopular Opinions Part 3. Alright, well, we're already starting off with a big one. Coming in at number 10, I think The Simpsons movie is better than any episode of the show. Yes, I really think that. I just think the story, humor, even a bit of the drama just comes together in the perfect package in The Simpsons movie. Listen, maybe I'm putting this at number 10 because maybe it is a little bit of nostalgia for me. This was the very first PG-13 film I ever saw in the movie theaters. So, maybe it's because of that. But, actually, I saw the Simpsons movie twice in theaters. Yeah, twice. I saw this when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I think is when the Simpsons movie came out. It's 2007, right? I was 5 when this film came out. So, I saw this film twice in theaters and loved it both times. And I just saw this movie about a couple weeks ago again. Overall, my time, I just enjoy it more with this movie than any other episode of the show. Stark Raving Dad and Homer's Enemy come close. Those are amazing episodes, but the movie for me is just the perfect package of Simpsons goodness. Alright, coming in at number 9 is Spongebob Season 4 is almost as good as Seasons 1 through 3. I'm not saying it is, but it's extremely close. Most people seem to think that SpongeBob Season 4 is a huge drop-off from the first 3 seasons. I can say that with, like, the last disc of Season 4 on the box set, maybe, which would be, like, Volume 2, Disc 2. I can kind of see a little bit of a drop-off. And that's why overall I do think Season 4 is not as good as the first 3 seasons. But, to be honest, the rest of the season, I might even put over Season 1. I'm dead serious. There are so many good episodes in Season 4. Like, Skill Crane, Wishing You Well, Have You Seen This Snail, Krusty Towers, Dunces and Dragons. So many great episodes this season. Now, Season 5, I agree, is not very good. Season 5 onward, up to like Season 9B, I don't really like all that much. Once you get to Season 9B, I feel actually very similar to how I feel about Season 4. But Season 4, for the most part, is a season I really like. Most people just consider it meh, not bad yet, but it's meh. I really like it, and I think it's a great season. Not as good as Seasons 1 through 3, but almost. Alright, number 8 is the fact that I think Pennsylvania is a great state. Which, by some, gets a horrible reputation because of Philadelphia, and I don't even think Philadelphia is all that bad. It's got its bad parts, and it's probably, to me, the worst part of the state. But a lot of Pennsylvania avoids a lot of the stereotypes of the Northeast. Philly metro area has rude people, not everywhere, just like anywhere in the country. Not everyone is rude, but you do have that rough, gruff Northeastern kind of attitude in the Philly metro area. But go outside of there is so much good about Pennsylvania. First of all, it is beautiful with so many green mountains and rivers and beautiful wildlife and gorgeous landscapes pretty much throughout the entirety of the state. Second, the southeastern corner of the state, I would say from Philadelphia to Gettysburg, there is so much to do. So much history, so much entertainment, like going to Hershey Park and Dorney Park and stuff like that. There's so many neat stores. If you go to Lancaster, you can get the Amish experience and have some of the honestly best cooking in the country at the Shady Maple. That place, from what I've heard, is delicious, and it looks like this summer I'm finally going to be able to try it, because I heard my family and I are going down to the Lancaster, Gettysburg, York area for a little vacation for like a weekend, and that's going to be awesome. I've wanted to try that place for a while. The only place I've personally been in this area is Gettysburg, but like I said, I'm going there again this summer, and it's got some of the neatest history in the entire country. You want a variety of fun stuff to do and beauty and nicer people than a lot of the Northeast. Come to Pennsylvania. It's a great state. Whew, okay, now I think we're getting to the really controversial opinions. Number 7, Chicken Little is not terrible. In fact, I don't even think it's Disney's worst movie. Does it have very bad aspects to it? Yes. Buck Cluck is a motherfuck, is what I've always said about Buck Cluck. He is the worst Disney parent of all time. He is freaking horrible to his son. The townsfolk are wretchedly disgusting too. The humor is very hit or miss, but you want to know why I don't think this film is terrible? Chicken Little is a mostly likable character. You know, he gets pushed on his luck and stuff like that, and for no reason, but you ultimately root for Chicken Little to succeed. It's not like he's an absolute prick and then everyone's an absolute prick. He at least seems like a good kid. And the pig, played by Steve Zahn, is freaking... I can't help it. I think he's awesome. Other than that, I don't like most aspects of the movie. It is in my top 5 least favorite Disney movies. Definitely, probably even top 3. I'd probably say Home on the Range is definitely worse. And I'd probably also say Dinosaur is worse. But Chicken Little is more of a 4 out of 10 movie for me than like a 1 out of 10 like most people. It's not a good movie, but it's not terrible. Let us talk about Toy Story 4. A lot of people don't like this movie because it pretty much ruined the ending of 3, which, even though I am starting to see these movies' flaws a little more than I used to, Toy Story 4 is a great movie. And I like it more than Toy Story 3. To me, I already actually explained it in my last Unpopular Opinions video. I feel like Toy Story 3 is just too somber and sad and has a really dark tone throughout the entire movie that you just can't enjoy the movie as much. Toy Story 4 brings that fun from the first two movies back, and it's entertaining, it's funny, it's got great characters. Two things I don't like about this movie is the lack of the older toys from the other movies, like Jessie and Potato Heads, Rex, Slinky, and even Buzz, to an example. Doesn't appear as much as they should. My bigger problem with the movie is plain and simply one character, Bonnie. The worst aspects of this movie all stems from Bonnie. What did Bonnie promise at the end of Toy Story 3? To take care of Woody, right? Yeah, she does that for like a couple months and then throws him in the closet. Wonderful. Now, the only thing I'll say is Andy did put Woody in a chest for like 10 years or something like that, but that's different. He was growing older, and he was growing up. Bonnie is still obviously playing with toys, so what if she says, I don't want Woody anymore, and he just gets sold at a garage sale or something like that? Other than that, though, I like mostly everything about Toy Story 4. I like Forky. I think he's very funny and especially charming. I like Duke Kaboom. I like Bo Peep's new personality and the fact that she has the most to do with a movie in the series. The story, I think, is better than Toy Story 3. I think the adventure they go on and the road trip is fascinating. This movie is so freaking charming. I can't help but love it. I think Toy Story 4 is a great movie. Oh boy, this one. Coming in at number 5 is... I still like Mr. Incredible Becomes Uncanny. I do. I really do. I genuinely think this is one of the most timeless memes of all time, and I think it belongs in the very few memes that shouldn't die. Do you know why? Because it's so unique. Does some of the Mr. Incredible Becomes Uncanny fan base suck? Yes. But I would say that's maybe 10% of the fan base versus the 90% of really good, respectful people in the fan base. Actually, I'm probably being a little nice. I'd say it's more like maybe 70% good, 30% bad, but the good in the fan base is so worth it, creating some of the best memes of all time that aren't really there to make you laugh. They're there to either scare you or fill your head with interesting facts that it's just fascinating. My favorite Mr. Incredible Becomes Uncanny memes now are the mapping videos. Specifically the ones by Noah. I find them so entertaining, and every time one is uploaded, I always just put everything down and watch it. Because it's fascinating to learn about the world in this aspect and stuff like that. It's cool, it's fascinating. Yes, there are absolutely toxic people in this fan base. Absolutely. But Mr. Incredible Becomes Uncanny is just so fascinating to me that I think I will make a Mr. Incredible Becomes Uncanny meme again eventually. I don't know about really soon, but maybe I will before the meme completely dies. Because I don't even think it is completely dead. I just think it's dead for the mainstream majority of people. Well, there's a fan base now that keeps it going that I think a majority of it is good, but some of it is bad. Anyways, the point is, I still like Mr. Incredible Becomes Uncanny memes. Okay, calm down, calm down. Number 4 is I like pineapple on pizza. What is there to not like about it? I think a lot of people who say they don't like pineapple on pizza have never tried it. They've never tried it. That's the thing. I don't like it. Well, have you ever tried it? Because it's really good. It's got a crunch to it that makes it sweet and savory. It's almost like, not in the same degree, but it's kind of like pretzel M&Ms. If you've ever had those. Those are my personal favorite M&Ms. I love those things. You got a sweet and salty combination. That's what I like about stuff like Hawaiian pizza and stuff like that. It's a great combination of sweet and savory, and the cheese, the ham, and bacon all make it salty, but you got the pineapple to make it just enough sweet to make it really good. It's not my favorite pizza. Probably in my top 10, but it's not my favorite. But I will never argue to get it. I like pineapple on pizza, and a lot of people don't. But that's okay, because it's my opinion. Okay, let's talk about a video game opinion. And this one is number 3, which is, I'm not a huge fan of Breath of the Wild. If you saw one of my early videos from 2017, when I first got my Switch, literally I think the day after it came out, I got my Switch. Breath of the Wild was the game that came with it, or the game I picked up with it. And I was hooked on it when it came out. The thing is, I have only played it once since that period in 2017. And I've played it in 2019. It was around the summertime. I just randomly put it in my Switch and played it, and I don't know. To me, it's kind of like Super Mario Odyssey. I feel like this game is a little too ambitious. Maybe even more than Super Mario Odyssey. Like, there's maybe too much exploration or too much world to explore, to the point where sometimes you just want to get on with the story, and it's like you gotta do 101 missions before you can get back onto the main story and stuff like that. And occasionally it's like, I kind of want it to get going. I guess I'm not a fan of long-winded games in general. Like, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are perfect for me. I'd like a good 20, 30 hour game or something like that, but eventually I want to go on and play other games. I don't have unlimited time to play video games. I have other stuff to do, so to me, I guess I'd like it shorter and a little less world to explore. That's why I'm hoping with the next Zelda game after Tears of the Kingdom, we kind of get a bit of a return to form, where we get kind of the older 3D style from Ocarina of Time to Skyward Sword. I'm not saying Breath of the Wild is not even a good game. It is a good game, but, and I'll say this, I like it more than Skyward Sword. I do. I don't think it's the worst 3D Zelda game. But I might put it about on par with Wind Waker, but it can't compete with Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask for me, because I feel like it balances the open world perfectly and has enough story to where you don't spend hours upon hours upon hours just to explore. That's fine for some people. I'm sure some people love that. And honestly, I do like open world games, but to me, it's not really my cup of tea in a Legend of Zelda game. It's not really what I want from a Zelda game, per se. It's what I'd want from, say, something like Grand Theft Auto 5, or some other open world game where you can just go exploring for hours. To me, I like the older style of Zelda games, I guess you can say. So, to me, I'm not a massive fan of Breath of the Wild. Alright, here we go. A South Park opinion at number 2. That is that Scott Tennerman Must Die is not the best South Park episode. At least in my opinion, but that's pretty obvious since this is an unpopular opinions video. To me, Scott Tennerman Must Die is a great episode. It really is. It's hilarious, and the ending is the true start for Eric Cartman, for how evil he is. With that being said, there's probably 10 or 11 episodes I prefer over this one. The main ones I can think of, which are my personal 2 favorite episodes of the entire series, which actually are not in my favorite era, but I love these episodes. They're my 2 favorite. It's Guitar Quero and You Have Zero Friends. I've said that before on my channel, I know I have, but those are my 2 favorite episodes of the entire series. I also prefer episodes like Fun Times with Weapons and Awesomeo, and I forgot what the Special Olympic episode was called, but I prefer that one. Casa Bonita is an episode I prefer over Scott Tennerman Must Die. I guess you can say the thing I maybe put slight points against with this episode is maybe that the ending scene is a little too dark. I'm not sure. I like dark comedy, so that's not necessarily it, I think. It's just mainly by personal preference. This episode is still like a 9.5 out of 10 episode for me, but there are episodes I just prefer over this one, and that's why people swear by this episode as the best episode of the series, but that's why it's probably my second most controversial opinion on this list, but not quite as much as number 1. Alright, and number 1. Oh boy. I see pitchforks and torches at my door. Oh my god, they're about to go in. Ah! I'm just kidding. But number 1 is plain and simply my most unpopular opinion on this list. I don't like The Office or Seinfeld. I really don't, honestly, guys. I'm sorry. I've tried watching The Office multiple times and Seinfeld at least once or twice. I will say this, I do prefer Seinfeld over The Office. I think The Office is the most overrated show of all time for how many people love this show and think it's one of the funniest shows ever. I don't get it. Maybe because I haven't been in a big office workplace environment yet, but to me, the show has had maybe 2 or 3 moments that have made me go, nothing more than that in The Office at all. I think Steve Carell is a hilarious actor, especially in The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I think that movie is hilarious. It's just, I'm not a huge fan of the rest of the cast. Honestly, I just can't get with them, I guess you can say. And I feel like the show is really boring, honestly, in my opinion. Seinfeld, I think, is a little bit better than The Office, because it does have one moment that I remember legitimately making me laugh out loud. That was the moment where I believe it's the father. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I haven't seen much of the show, but it's the like half-bald character with glasses there. He goes to the movie theaters and these obnoxious pricks that are really loud, and then he yells at them and stuff like that. It was on Chris Stuckman's Annoying Moviegoers video. That moment is hilarious, and I did see that moment actually before the Chris Stuckman video, so that moment is hilarious. Other than that, I can't name a single other moment that's made me laugh out loud. I just don't think it's that funny. I can't help it. I think these two shows are two of the most overrated TV shows of all time, and they're just not my cup of tea. They've never made me laugh out loud, like, say something like The Simpsons or South Park or Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which I think are perfectly rated shows that are perfectly deserved of their hilarious ratings. I just don't see that with Seinfeld and The Office. I don't see it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll have to give these shows another chance one day, but for right now, this is my most unpopular opinion for my third part of my unpopular opinions videos. Alright, so that wraps things up for this video. Am I going to do a part 4 next year sometime or something like that? I'm not sure. This could be the last part of Unpopular Opinions, but it could also not be. We could be getting another part. It's gonna probably be next year before we get another part. I don't do one of these that often, but it depends. Depends if I feel up to it. I do enjoy these videos, but I don't know how many other unpopular opinions I can truly say. So, I hope you guys like this video, and that's about it. Gaming Drew here. See you later. Bye.